Here it is.
6 months later. A short timer. I don't care. No, you're not.
Wherever I was.
I will call the Tuesday, October 21st, 2025 Island City Council meeting to order. Janice, could you please call roll?
Member Atlan.
Here.
Member Mitchell,
Here.
Vice Mayor Maida,
Here.
and Mayor Rhodes.
Here. And Council Member LaFane is going to be absent, I guess. All right, we have no closed session tonight. Will you please all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get approval of the agenda, please?
Agenda, motion.
Second.
We got a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have no presentations or announcements tonight. Open up to public comment items not on the agenda.
Good evening, Council. Fire Chief Mackey. Sorry that I did not put this on the presentation, but if we would have, the individual probably would not have shown up because he's got a lot of pride and doesn't need thank yous, but we need to thank him. On behalf of the City of Ione Firefighters Association, we'd like to publicly thank an individual who has been a huge supporter of the fire department and the association for many years, contributing to our homecoming booth yearly, purchasing 12 thermal imaging cameras for the firefighters, purchasing the Lucas CPR machine device that saves lives, assisting us with many station projects and saving the city money and assuring that we can provide the highest level of service to our citizens. At this time, I'd like to present the City of Ione Fire Department Golden Service Award presented to Thomas Borge from Axios Homes.
Come on down.
Thomas, for your continued dedication and outstanding donations that provide life-saving equipment and assisting us at serving the safety for our community. From all of us at the City of Ione Fire Department and the Ione Firefighters Association, thank you.
Thank you, Chief Mackey. Unexpected as usual. But I do have to say, we know we have the best fire department and we have to go ahead and lend a hand wherever we possibly can. I do want to say that Mrs. Mackey was very instrumental in actually bringing some education to us. And one of the pieces of equipment that we actually helped purchase was the new CPR machine that they have. And I don't know if you're familiar with what they actually have, but the way that it kind of works now is when the fire department arrives and somebody needs CPR, they actually have to manually administer it. It's a very time consuming, and a lot of firefighters have to be rotated in and out because you can only perform CPR for a certain period of time. And they had shown me this piece of equipment, and it's something that it goes ahead and when somebody needs CPR, they can go ahead and strap this machine to it, and it gives perfect CPR, and it takes recovery rates from under 50% to over 95%. And it's like doing CPR perfect, because now you have to wait and perform CPR until an ambulance arrives, which could be very time consuming. If a machine's administering perfect CPR, the chances of that person surviving, which actually happened. Mrs. Mackey called me one day and said, it just happened. Somebody was actually in a very bad accident and they used that machine and it saved that person's life. So, we do a lot of things for money. We do a lot of things for other things, but what we really want to do is build a good community here and make sure that the people and the citizens of Ione have the best chance of survival if they ever do have an accident. We have the best fire chief around, and we should go ahead and recognize that. So anyway,
It's all standing behind you, that does the work.
that's true. So anyway, thank you. A long time ago, when they opened up the other fire station, I said we wanted to go ahead and pay for the lettering that was actually supposed to be in his honor and name. And he says, that's never going to happen. It's still alive. So I guess I got the picture. This says payback.
My 5 minutes are up.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, council.
Thank you, Mr. Boris. Well deserved.
Like I say, I'm not a fan of developers, but I'm a fan of his.
Take a selfie, you know.
That's
When you see the picture of her thumb,
Thank you, Thomas. Any other public comment? Items not on the agenda.
Hi, everyone. My name is Patricia Angija. I'm the treasurer for Amador's Heart of Gold. I wanted to thank everyone in Ione for coming out to our lemonade stands in September for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, for buying pies, and for just generally supporting us. As most of you know, we were founded by two of the moms who have boys with cancer in Ione, Anna Lee and Ashley Costello. And they were nice enough to choose me to be their treasurer. I have school-age children as well, but luckily they do not have cancer. And I hope that that is never anything that we have to face. So we want to give all of our support to the families in Amador County that are facing those challenges. And that's why they brought about this organization. If you want, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with any activities, any organizing and awareness events that we are having. And yeah, I just really wanted to say thank you all for coming together as a community and supporting us. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. A couple updates. One coming up here on November 4th. It's a Tuesday night. They might be during a meeting here. Sorry about that. But it's at the Tackle Box Cafe. It's the Community Wildfire Protection Plan that they're updating it every so many years. They'll be up there. There's plenty of room for public comment. So just a heads up there. It's called the CWPP. If we're looking for the acronym, that's what it's called. Also, over the weekend, Friday in particular, I got to tour the pump storage project at Shaver Lake. They're actually trying to put one up here to find my interest in it. And it's pretty amazing. They actually take water, it generates electricity when they're running the water down through the turbines. And then when the solar power out, I've been on like 5 different tours now, different power plants and battery storage facilities, but it's pretty interesting because solar power produces this very rough sine wave. And so when it comes out, it's not very clean. And it makes using it very difficult, and it just a lot of things going on there. But talking things, basically to have something really heavy that spins a lot, I guess is the way to say it, to help even out that curve. And these pump projects actually do that. And the one up here, I don't know, it's with the FERC, the federal government right now. If they approve it, it'll be happening. If they don't, then it'll be something else. But pretty awesome. Just some information there. Also, I'm not sure how many of you have got your windshield broken, like most of us, I think, heading up 88. I think right now, I'm not sure if you've not been reimbursed. Please let me know. There's a little short window left. I've been in contact with Bay Cities Paving, and they've finally been responsive. I heard just the other day that one other person got a check. They've been waiting for 2 or 3 months. So if your windshield got damaged or pitted, please just get a hold of me and I'll forward the information right along. They should issue checks pretty quickly. Hopefully that's what they've taken a little bit longer than I prefer on some of those. Also right now, the county's paving Martin Lane, and we're looking to pave the feeder routes into Comanche Village. Waiting on a grant for that. And then Ridge Road's also being paved. You've been up that way at all, that whole roads, the upper Ridge Road's being taken care of right now. And then just some of the more local stuff, the biomass plant is now, they're working on getting it operational again. They'll be operating under their current permit, which is still, it's unexpired, but it's under contract now, so it's kind of a big deal. They'll be bringing a lot of jobs and hopefully so a large investment at some point. It's called 2CRSI. That's the outfit. You can look it up on the internet and it'll give you a little, like a 2-page thing. It tells you kind of what they're up to, but it could be literally a couple $100 million investment in our community, which that's in my district. So I'm very happy about that. And I know they also made a tax payment, which is even more happy. So anyway, there you go. And the county budget's doing pretty well. Everything else is pretty happy down there. And if you need anything else, please reach out and feel free to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
You go ahead.
I'll make this as quick as possible. If you could, there should be 7 here so that we can get this on the public record. At the end of the last meeting, Mr. Atlan accused me of using the wrong set of wastewater results from Castle Oaks. In front of you should be an email from Mr. Veransky, and there's a qualifying thing from David Anderson. It's from Mr. Veransky to David Anderson, but getting right to it. Hello, Mr. Anderson. Councilmember Atlan told me that the reports he reviewed were from 2024 first quarter. The documents are attached in the links, and it shows you the links that I've highlighted below. Now, if you turn to the next page, highlighted is first quarter 2024, April 23rd, 2024, a year and a half ago, like I originally said. So this is just to clarify who's accurate and who's not. Also, he stated that he wanted to take a look at the 2018 well study for himself. This is kind of shocking for me. There were 7 local wells, as I'm sure most of you know, that were contaminated, mine included, and they were pretty much traced to Mule Creek Prison, the prison industry authority activities. This gentleman was elected 2 to 3 years before this study came out. And he was on the wastewater committee for several years, and he constantly pushed for the use of prison water during this time. So after 8 or 9 years in office, only now does he want to actually read the study. I mean, it was very comprehensive and very straightforward. Now, I'm sorry, but this to me borders on criminal negligence. If not criminal negligence, it's dereliction of duty. And Mr. Rhodes, Larry Rhodes, was absolutely correct in that Regional Water told the prison that, no, you got to test these and retest them. Corrections has adamantly refused, and there has been no consequence at all. So I don't understand it myself, but either way, maybe it's time to put this study on an agenda and go over it thoroughly so the entire community understands what exactly is going on up there. Just a suggestion. And I would like to correct something I said. It's not a notice of intent to sue 2023. It was a notice of violation in 2022, not 2023. But anyway, can I answer any questions?
Yeah, I didn't say what Mr. Vrinsky said I said, so that's the mistake. I did
Sorry,
not.
what?
I did not say that.
Off the mic, just a
sorry.
hair so I can hear you.
I didn't say. I believe I did read this one as well, but the last one I read was from July of 2025, which is what I've said about 5 times now.
Well, and while we're here, did you mention when you spoke to the council that actually chloroform had been located in monitoring well number 1? As it was in April of 2024, again in July of 2024, and again in September of 2024. Chloroform was detected in monitoring well number 1 in the
Got
Gulf.
30 more seconds.
That's it. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim.
Only, I'm glad Councilmember Allen had a chance to respond because he did say at the last meeting that he had reviewed the 2025 reports. So my email to Mr. Anderson and Mr. Skelly was incorrect, and that the last ones referenced were not 2024.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Vrinsky.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Marcia Edick. I just have a couple of quick topics. One is minutes that seem to be missing for various meetings. 12 of them, in fact. The draft minutes that were attached to the August 5th agenda were for April 15th and May 6th. And I note that tonight's agenda has minutes for August 27th, September 2nd, and September 9th. But there were 12 meetings between those dates, and specifically May 20th, June 3rd, June 4th, June 12th, June 17th, July 1st, July 8th, July 10th, July 15th, July 24th, August 5th, and August 19th. So I'm just kind of curious if we're addressing, minutes, what happened to those other minutes for 12 other meetings in between?
We are addressing them now, but there was a point where council members had issues with my minutes and they discussed doing action minutes in certain ways, but nobody ever got back to me to tell me exactly what they wanted in their minutes. So I know I'm behind, but I'm just going to go forward and do minutes the way I used to do. So, and they'll be brought up in the
All right.
couple months.
Thank you. Okay, hopefully we get minutes for those 12 meetings. Second subject is, I recall at a previous meeting, Councilmember LaFane, and she's not here to comment, obviously, she had been questioning invoices for the city council's review where warrants were set for all of you to approve, and there were no invoices for city council's review. And I recall at the last meeting that the city manager mentioned, kind of in an unpleasant tone, in my opinion, that she could come to City Hall and request to see those invoices. But then, when I actually saw a comment on social media, someone asking a similar question of, well, has she gone to City Hall to request those? But perhaps the city manager and those of you on council and in the audience need to be reminded of the restrictions that were put in place following the censure. So I'm going to do that because I went back and I found the censure, which was a resolution, and it was at the July 15th meeting. We don't have the minutes for that, but there is the video up on the website. But she was specifically prohibited from coming into City Hall and having any direct contact with city employees. All of her communications must go through the city manager. Well, meeting after meeting, she sits here and asks for these invoices and wonders where they are. And the city manager is here, you're all here, we're all here. And yet I have to believe that she's not getting those invoices in spite of the fact that she's requested them, because the next meeting comes around and she's asking for the invoices again.
You got
So-
30 seconds.
I just wanted to point that out to make it part of the record. And I also want to point out that there was an admonition also in that censure that prohibits her from even sending emails to anybody within the city to support the furtherance of her duties and her obligations unless she copies another city council member on that. So I chose to bring this to everyone's attention tonight in this open meeting to get it on the record. And it's going to be in the audio and the video, which is great. And at some point, I have to trust that it will be
Your time's up.
accurately reflected in the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Yes, can you hear me, Stacy?
Dave Johnson, Shakely, regarding the minutes, the meeting, the closed session meeting on September 9th, the video's up, but it's sort of reversed and we don't have the video coming back out where the city manager announces the 3-2 vote. But beyond that, when I was up here that day, I was specifically talking about the city of Lafayette, and they tried to do the same thing you guys are doing with these closed sessions. We're supposed to at least know what the topic is. You guys have 4 closed sessions right now that we still don't know what the topic is. That last meeting you came out 3-2, Josh announces the vote that was not read in that night. You added it to the minutes. But I see my testimony that night was totally edited as well, because I was basically citing precedents where Lafayette was trying to do the same thing you're doing right now, where you don't tell the topic, and then all of a sudden we get this $90,000 attorney bill in September. After Andrea said the year before you guys were running 10,000 a month, you're running up 40,000 now. It seems like the only people that are making money here are the attorneys. All of a sudden, this $90,000 bill comes in and we have no idea what you're spending that money on. I mean, you guys probably do, and maybe some of your friends do, but we have no clue where that 90,000 went to. And when you try to look it up, there's nothing specific. When I've dealt with attorneys in the past, they bill me every 15 minutes and they give me detail of what that's for. So that just, it really bothers me. Now we're going to sue Allison, apparently. It looks like we've already paid our attorney $4,000 to file a lawsuit. I don't know what you guys are suing for. I've seen it be $100,000, but in private business, before I hired an attorney, I wanted to know what my possible lawsuit could gain me. If it was gonna be $100,000, I didn't want to spend over 50 because I'm just gonna give it all to the attorney and I'm gonna break even. So some of these things, you guys have a fiduciary responsibility to us to spend our money in our best behalf, not on your own. And I don't think you guys would be spending your own money on some of this stuff with the lack of return on investment. Because even if you win this and somebody decides not to pay or it goes to collection, you're gonna get pennies on the dollar. So some of these things just seem to be where you guys could hash these out and save us the money. You've got 4 businesses plus that have closed out on Main Street this last year. I don't know where that appraisal came in for that building, but it was on the market for over a year. I'd love to see the appraisal be made public as well. I can't find it anywhere to show me where the comps were. I don't think the comps were anywhere around here. You can't, I mean, half of Main Street's empty right now. So I don't know how we got that up to 880. I'm not faulting the deal because 2% is great, but I don't know how we came in with 880,000 on a comp. So that's pretty much what I have. Thank you. I did it less than 3.
I
Would you like
respond
to respond?
Yeah.
Let Chuck respond.
Mr. John, just so you know, I'm always available after meetings if you want to discuss any questions you have. You can look across all the local agencies across California. Our closed session listings read the exact same way. If it's a litigation item, some information is not going to be immediately available because the council's still considering decisions. Eventually, that information will come out once that matter is resolved, and we announce out when something's required or there's final action or a settlement agreement or something like that. But our closed session listings are fully compliant with the Brown Act. As to the invoices, that 90,000 you referenced was covered over a few months. That wasn't just one bill. And council has all the invoices by the minute with the entry of the matter worked and the time spent. The reason that it's not available for the public is because it's privileged and there's confidential information on our invoices about what we've worked on. It would take us a lot of time to go redact what is sensitive information and what's not. But the council has that information. It's available for Councilmember LaFane. It's available for everybody. They can come into City Hall, but there's a reason why it's not on an agenda or it can't just be put out to the public because it's sensitive information that has detailed descriptions of what we've worked on. So there's no hiding. The invoices are available for the review. The city gets them every month, but I did want to clarify that and we can talk about it anytime after a meeting if you have questions.
Okay, next.
Hey, I'd like to comment on that. I remember right, the council here presented a $40,000 that he charged, and 105 of them were Allison, 23 of them were Mr. Outland. I don't want the charge per hour, but I bet you it's over $300. So you wonder where the money goes? There's where some of it went. Thank you.
It was 23 emails, not 23 hours.
Any other public comment?
Right, Larry.
Okay, who's the first one? Dave Anderson?
Yeah, Janice, I can't find the hand raise function on the application I'm using, so
Come on this.
forgive me for not doing that.
Hold on a second, Dave.
I like how it is.
Okay, Dave, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, sorry about the hand raise function because I can't see it on my end. But nevertheless, the last city council meeting, Mr. Allen was really quite strident in his assertions that he does not work for CDCR, he works for Prison Industries Authority. And to clarify that, the Prison Industries Authority is formed under California Penal Code, starting with Section 2800. Section 2800 says, commencing July 1st, 2005, there is hereby continued in existence within the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, the Prison Industry Authority. That's pretty conclusive statement that PIA is part of CDCR. And to underscore that fact, the Prison Industries Authority is managed or run oversight by an 11-member board of directors. The chairman of the board of directors is a secretary of California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. So I think there's a ongoing conflict of interest that I think the city council and perhaps even Josh, you can address at some point. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. You had one other on Zoom?
This is Diane Ratton. I submitted to Mrs. Mackey and to Mr. Lee a grant program that is being offered that is absolutely earmarked and perfect for girls softball. I would ask that this council put that item on the next agenda for discussion and or action to give direction to staff to review the grant, potentially apply for the grant, at the very least attend the beginning grant meetings to see if it is in fact something that would work for us and girls softball. Also with the dissolving of ACRA, there are still developer impact fees that were generated out of Ione. Still with ACRA. I don't know where they're at now. I assume they're going to the county. I believe that the city of Ione is entitled to some, if not all of those grants that they have submitted, or excuse me, the funds that have been generated out of Ione developers. And I would like to see the council also put that item on the agenda and have the direction given to find out how we are going to get those funds back. Thank you.
Any other public comment on Zoom? No? Anyone in the audience? All right, we'll close public comment. We have no, let's see. Can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Move to approve.
Second.
I second, with
First
the,
and a second. You have something else you want to say?
I don't want to pull the warrants, but I'd like to hold one warrant back. Is that possible, something to do?
You can pull them.
I just want, I just want to pull, I don't want to pull them. I want to make a motion. I want to second this with I hit the caveat that we don't pay Eco Urban until we find out what's going on with them.
I'll amend my motion then and agree with that.
Well, if you notice, there's not one Eco Urban, there's two. September and October, it'll just keep showing.
Yes, I made the same thing last meeting
Okay.
on that one, so.
Yeah, so you're gonna pull both.
Yes, please.
So I'm in my motion to pull Eco Urban for the 2 months, but approve the consent calendar for warrants.
I second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, moving on to, we have no public hearings, regular agenda. Presentation of 2020 to 2021 audit by Brian Nash, CPA. Be on Zoom.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
It sounded a little more clear, Chief, please. I don't know how you did it before, but it was a lot clearer, whatever you did before. With me and Jody can hardly hear it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I have on my screen. Hopefully you can see the financial statements now. Let's see, it's on the wrong screen. Hopefully you can see it now. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong. Too many things open on my computer. I apologize. Let's see here.
Before you start, I have a point of order for Mr. Verinsky. So the agenda says this is a presentation by Mr. Nash, which I agree with. And the staff report says that it's to approve the resolution, and there's an included resolution. So what are we doing? What we can do by law is to only receive the presentation, which is what I would like, because we got this audit on Friday night, so haven't had much time to review it. So if it's a presentation, that's great. If it's a vote in action, not great.
It would be best if we postpone the resolution until the next meeting and get all the information and presentation tonight, and we could bring the resolution back.
Wasn't that what the presentation is? Isn't that what the agenda item is? Just presentation?
You could adopt it if the council goes forward. On the agenda description, we ideally would have said resolution and action adoption to accept the audit. If there's no harm in delay, then the safer course is to just put the resolution back to the next meeting and get the presentation done and the information, but
We've waited almost a decade so far, so I don't know that another week's going to matter.
Agreed, Mr.
All right.
Mitchell.
Okay, continue.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm presenting the 2021 audited financial statements, management letter, governance letter, and appropriations limit report. Management letter, governance letter, appropriations limit report. Our opinion is our responsibility. The responsibility for the financial statements is with management. On page 1 of the financial statements, you'll see our opinion. Our opinion is modified because
We're not seeing the right page on your screen. You're just showing like the front page of our agenda.
Staff report.
Okay, so let me move it. Can you see it now?
Go ahead. Go see. Go
Yeah.
back and see.
So the opinion is modified because there was information that the city staff was not able to find. There is a finding in the back of the financial statements and the compliance report that mentions this as a material weakness. The recommendation there is to make sure you have a good system for saving information. These days, the best way to do that is electronically. Make sure everything is saved electronically and organized on your server in a way that anybody can find it, and make sure all of the staff are trained on how to find that information so this doesn't happen in the future. So our opinion is modified because that information that we weren't able to receive could have errors in it, or could be an indication there could be fraud that we couldn't find because we weren't able to look at the documentation. So that's what our opinion says. This audit was a difficult audit, not just for that reason, but because we had a number of audit adjustments, plus the start date of the audit kept being delayed. We originally planned to start the audit in September of 2024. And the city staff didn't provide the information we needed to start the audit during that month. And then we rescheduled it for late November or December of 24, and we still didn't receive all the information, and it kept getting pushed back. So it was a difficult audit to receive information piecemeal over a number of months. And there was also 33 audit adjustments found during the audit, which takes a lot of additional time, and we have to ask for supporting documentation to support the adjustments that we needed to post during the audit. So this was a difficult audit for a number of reasons. That's why it's been delayed. I'm going to turn to the statement of net assets. There's two different views in the financial statements.
What
Excuse
page are
me.
you on?
So
Your screen still isn't doing, what page are you looking at? We're just looking through our agenda. If you can tell us what page on your report.
okay, let me pull up the agenda here. So this is page.
There you go.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. So
Page 5.
this is
5.
page 176 of the packet, and this is page 10 of the financial statements. So this view of the financial statements, it includes all of your long-term liabilities. You can see the long-term liabilities here. There's some loans, and then there's compensated absences, which is employee time off liability. And there's also pension and post-retirement healthcare benefit liabilities that we call OPEB liabilities. GASB calls it, Government Accounting Standards Board calls those OPEB liabilities. So there's several $1 million of long-term liabilities in this view. You'll see down at the bottom, unrestricted net position on this full accrual basis under the governmental activities column is negative. That's not unusual for a government because of those long-term liabilities, especially the pension and post-retirement healthcare benefit liabilities. Those are long-term liabilities that have to be paid over time. So that does not mean that you're in any short-term dire need. It's just an indication that there are long-term liabilities that need to be paid. The other column, the business activities column, is your sewer fund. And you'll see that that has a positive unrestricted net position. The statement of activities is the income statement on the full accrual basis. The governmental activities column does show it has almost $2 million of net income, change in net position, positive activity during the year. The sewer fund, about $200,000 of net income. You will see that there's a restatement. There was a loan, a home loan, I believe it was, that the loan defaulted and it was foreclosed. The collateral was foreclosed on years ago in 2014, I believe, and it was never removed from the loan list. So this happened before we became your auditors, and it was just discovered during this audit that a loan was not removed from the loan list. So that was removed in a restatement. The governmental activities page, this is on a different focus. This is a short-term focus report. This operates more like your budget. You don't budget for changes in long-term liabilities in your general fund. You just budget the contributions to the pension plan and the retiree health insurance premiums. So this does not have the long-term assets and liabilities in it. You'll see the general fund, which is your main operating fund, does have negative unassigned fund balance of $469,000, but that is an improvement from the previous year's audit where it was $915,000. And this year was before the ARPA funds, the over $2 million of ARPA funds were recorded. So it improved during this year that we audited, and after the year was over, the ARPA funds added to your general fund. So just keep that in mind. The way that the financial statements are reported, we report what's considered to be major funds. It's over 5% of the fund type and over 10% of all funds. And so these funds that are on this page that are listed separately are considered your major funds. And we have a scope that tests each one of those funds separately. We have a tolerable error that we use during the audit to test each one of those separately, and we provide our opinion separately in all of these funds. The Home Program Grant Fund that's used for home loans, the CDBG Program Grant Fund that's used for CDBG loans, the Measure M Special Revenue Fund, and the Local Traffic Mitigation Fund. Those are all major funds, and you'll see all of those have positive fund balance during the year. On the income statement of the governmental activities, you'll see all of the funds have positive income during the year. So all of the funds had good operations during the year, positive operations. The general fund had $446,000 in net income. One of the things that is causing the general fund to have negative net position are advances that were taken out years ago from restricted funds. So the general fund borrowed from other funds. There's advances to the general fund recorded here and advance from other funds recorded here. When we became your auditor, there was really no repayment plan for those, but a repayment plan was approved since we've been your auditors. And I just want to remind you how important it is to stick with the repayment plan. I believe there's a 25-year repayment plan that was approved by the council. Future councils really need to stick with that plan. It's really not appropriate to borrow restricted funds without a plan and the ability to pay it back. That was one of the issues in the Vallejo bankruptcy, is the general fund was borrowing from restricted funds and didn't have the ability to pay it back. And so I'm not saying you don't have the ability to pay it back. I'm just saying you need to make sure you do return the restricted funds to those other funds that where they were borrowed. So the sewer fund, as I mentioned, it has positive unrestricted net position. There's about 9 months worth of expenses less depreciation in the unrestricted fund balance. So that's actually a pretty good position to be in. The Government Finance Officers Association does recommend having reserves to cover any unexpected expenses or any delay in receiving revenue. Considering all of the compliance issues that you've had with your sewer fund, that doesn't seem to be too excessive. It seems like a pretty good position to be in. And, the sewer fund, as I mentioned, had $199,000 in net income during that fiscal year. Something that was new during the year that we are auditing is there's what's called custodial funds. This is money that you're holding for other entities or for there's community facilities district funds that have bonds that are secured by property owners and they're not a city liability. Those are in these fiduciary funds. In the current year, we had to add an income statement for the fiduciary funds. There was a new accounting standard that had to be implemented, GASB statement number 84. This is something the city hadn't done when we received the trial balance, and so we had to spend some time coming up with the income statement balances and breaking those out as part of the adjustments that I mentioned. So one of the things that slowed up the audit just a little bit. There is a footnote that goes over all of the interfund advances. It's on page 35 and 36 of the financial statements. This is something that wasn't there when we became your auditors, that we made sure we included all the purposes of all of the interfund advances and the original amounts, and when they were approved are all listed here. So you could look at this footnote and should be able to get a quick understanding of what those advances were that I mentioned. I'm not going to go through all of these numbers in a lot of detail since they are pretty stale. I just wanted to point out that there is a subsequent event footnote that has the disclosure of the ARPA funds. So there was $2,049,000 of American Rescue Plan Act funding. So that was received in 22 and 23. So that was not included in these financial statements. I just wanted to point that out, since that's a very important item for every city. There's the footnote also goes through all of the different significant contracts that were approved after this audit was completed, or after the audit year that we audited was after that date. So there's quite a bit of information here about all the different things that were approved. And then there is a footnote that discusses the restatements that I already mentioned, breaking out the custodial fund income statement and the loan that was written off years ago that wasn't removed from the loan list or discussed here in this footnote. There is if you want to stop me at any time, please do that. But I'm just going to keep going through. There is a budget versus actual report for the general fund. This is something that's required to be disclosed in the financial statements. It does show that the revenues were over budget and the expenses were under budget during the fiscal year that we audited. In the general fund, there's also one for the major special revenue fund. It shows the revenue is over budget, but the expenses were over budget, also unfavorable. There's supplementary information that we're required to show in the financial statements. This is related to the pension plan. It shows this number here, 69.52% shows the funded percentage of the retirement plan during 21. The other post-employment benefits plan is this next page. It's on page 59 of financial statements, 231 of your packet. This one is unfunded, so 0% funded. So that's something that's it's becoming fewer and far between our clients that don't have some sort of funding of their retiree health insurance benefits, this OPEB plan. So that's something that you may want to consider in the future. You know, if you don't have the ability to fund the plan, can you really afford it? Might be a question you need to ask. The compliance report in the back of the financial statement discusses the findings that I just mentioned. I'm sorry, I went past that. So there's two findings that are considered material weaknesses. One is the 33 audit adjustments that we found during the audit. So the recommendation there is to create a closing checklist to make sure you're catching those before the audit begins. And then the second one is the internal controls that seem to be missing, that because there's documentation that wasn't able to be found. This is the list of items that we weren't able to find that we requested during the audit for our testing. We tried to find alternate ways to verify the balances were there and were paid or were received, looking at the cash detail, looking at the payable system, but without actually finding the invoices or the receipts, it's difficult to know what those transactions were. We just know what's in the general ledger itself. We didn't see the backup documentation because it wasn't available to us. So I think that's really significant to have that many items. I've never seen that many items not able to be found in an audit, and I've been auditing for over 30 years.
Wow.
So really need to pay attention to that one. It's kind of the basis of everything you do. You really need to have support for all of your balances in the general ledger. There's a management letter and a governance letter. The management letter, there's really not too much that's new in this letter. This is something that we carried forward from our previous audit for the most part. I don't plan to go into this in a lot of detail. These are not considered to be findings where they're weaknesses. It's just recommendations for improvements, things that would make the audit easier, or things that I think you might want to do, such as recommendations about some of the things you could change on your website to make information easier to be found, that kind of thing. So I don't plan to go through this in a lot of detail. It's there, it's available to be read. Typically our clients, the management of the client would respond to the management letter by preparing a letter, maybe in a future meeting that discusses what their plans are to address these items. That might be something you have management do in the future. The governance letter is a letter of required disclosures to a governing body. All the things that I'm talking about here in my agenda kind of covered what's in this letter. All the adjustments that we had in the audit are attached to this letter. You can see there's 6 pages of adjustments. They affected many different balances. And there's what's called unadjusted differences. These are items that we considered immaterial. We found them too close to the issuance date to have time to fix things. So we just waived them. But when we do that, we're supposed to show you which adjustments we waived. These are considered immaterial, so I wouldn't worry about those. So that's what I have for you. I'll be happy to go into things in more detail if you'd like me to.
All right, thank you. Any questions from council members?
Yeah, but I'll wait. I'll go last.
I have none. You guys have any questions?
Maybe I can make one more comment I didn't mention. During our time as your auditor, there's been 4 different finance managers, and that is a really difficult situation to be in for a city. It really is with the complicated information you have going through your accounting system. It's really important to have some consistency, and so I'd really consider that. You know, give your staff time to learn things. Make sure you retain them to the best of your ability.
Yes, we agree. All right, we'll
Hang on,
open.
I got a couple questions.
Okay.
I got a bunch of questions. I think I'm going to send them to you before this comes back to us, so we don't waste everyone's time. I just want to talk about so this is a modified and a qualified audit, which is bad, very bad. The missing documents, et cetera, I'm just going to go on for the like the OPEB. You mentioned in there that OPEB gets liquidated out of the sewer fund. Do you remember that? There's so many pages here that you said that the OPEB fund is liquidated out of the sewer fund. My question was, why is the sewer fund the one liquidated in the OPEB fund and not many funds?
It's the general fund and the sewer fund, I believe.
Okay, so why the sewer fund? I mean, why pick that, not say, you know, whatever, gas tax fund or something else?
It's the fund that has the staff salaries located in them is where the OPEB expenses are recorded.
Okay.
It goes along with payroll.
Okay, I got it. Just going through my list. I'm not going to ask you all of them. So there was, you were saying that the OPEB is unfunded, and that's unusual. In 2022, we had a plan to fund some of the OPEB, and you mentioned that in your report, but the city never implemented that. Why was that? I mean, I guess you don't know the answer to that one.
I don't.
Would you recommend that they did implement that plan?
I think it's important if you have a promise to your employees that it's not just a promise, that it's a funded benefit. Many governments were in the situation when this new accounting standard was implemented. GASB Statement Number 75 was implemented in about 2018, I believe. And a lot of governments were kind of shocked that there was a large liability that existed. It was not something that was ever recorded in the financial statements or made clear. After that accounting standard was implemented, everybody started taking a look at what they had promised and how they could fund that. So that is something that you definitely should have a conversation about. Some clients start a funding plan, adding a little over time. Some changed the benefit to reduce the benefits that exist. Some eliminated this is a defined benefit plan. You've promised a benefit, and it has to be computed by an actuary and funded in a manner that the actuary says you would need to be able to fund it over time. Some clients have changed it to a defined contribution plan. The Calaveras County Water District is one of those close by entity. They changed their retiree health plan to a defined contribution plan where they specify a contribution to a individual account for each employee, and it's portable. They can take it with them, kind of like a 401A plan or 401k plan. So there's lots of different ways that clients have addressed the OPEB liability, and so it's just a conversation you probably should have.
Okay, well, we've had that conversation and made a resolution, so we just got to make sure that we follow it. So, and then you also note that on page 48, the OPEB plan can be changed. So you could require contributions if you want to, and you note that on page 48. On page 49, same subject, OPEB. So we actually did change OPEB. So anyone hired past 2019 no longer can get that. So it was a $3 million liability, went down to like, because you've got this in your report. So the 2019 was, went down to 1.3. This is on page 49. And then it went in 1 year, even though we have no new people coming on the plan, because we stopped offering it in 2019, it went up $340,000. So how did it go up when it should be going down or maintaining at the 1.3?
So this is a contribution, I mean, a calculation that's done by your actuaries, and they do, even though you don't have, any benefits in there, they do assume that there's a discount rate. The discount rate is a short-term bond rate. So as that interest rate, the market rates for that short-term bond, high-quality bond fluctuates in the market, they change that discount rate. So if it goes up, the liability goes down. If it goes down, the liability goes up. So it's kind of dependent on that discount rate they're using.
Okay. And my last question tonight is, in your statement of activities, which I don't know what page that's on, but it's the heading, a statement of activities.
Yes.
If you know what page that's on, shout it out.
Yes, I do.
People can follow along.
I think it's page 11.
Page 11. I think our pages may be different, but.
So it's page 177 of the packet.
It's called the statement of activities. That's the heading of the
government-wide statement of activities.
Yeah. And it's not on my page. Anyway, in there, from 2020 to 2021, there's a capital grant in there.
Page 11.
Page 11. There's a capital grant in there of $1 million. What is that? And where did it come from? It just, all it says there is there's a grant, $1 million, but it's like, what is the grant? Where did it come from?
Given time, I could tell you.
Okay, that's fine.
I'd have to look in.
We got a couple of weeks on that, but that was, I will send you some other questions, but that was one that was, struck me. It was like, because it kind of looks like, are things being falsely balanced is where I'm getting at. You throw in a number here and there, and just so everybody knows, this is not anybody here today. So that's really good news. This is not Andrea or not George, nobody here. So this is from 2021. So when there's, all of a sudden, there's a $1 million grant, it makes everything look really nice, but did we really get that grant, and what is it for, et cetera? Those are my questions. Anyway, thank you very much, and appreciate, I hope you're working on the next year's audit, but appreciate this one. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, we'll open up to public comment.
Good evening again, Marcia Edick. I want to start out by saying that I have no finance or accounting background, so a lot of this is over my head, but there are certain things in this 120 some odd page report that stands out to me. And I know that we've gone through several finance managers since this audit, which is actually covering 2020, 2021. And that's sad, but as far as I know, for the 2020, 2021 year, we only had one finance director and city manager, and it was a dual position. So it's kind of remarkable to me that Mr. Nash, who is kind enough to appear tonight and explain some of this stuff to us, says that he's never seen this much missing information in his entire career. Okay, that is concerning. It should be concerning to you. It's definitely concerning to me as a resident. In fact, on page 252 of the agenda, which is page 74 of his report, it says 33 audit adjustments and closing entries were required to complete the financial statements. at the bottom of that same page, it notes the city manager and finance director payroll disbursements had no timesheets. It also says that the credit card bills were reviewed by the finance director, is what we were told, but there's no evidence of a review available. So the fact that we've had all these finance managers since 2020, 2021 is kind of beside the point, because the issue that we're dealing with tonight relates to 2020 and 2021. So the fact that that person is no longer here shouldn't mean that those records are no longer here. They should be here. And I know that Andrea and her staff has spent countless hours, dedicated her time to trying to find this stuff and jump through hoops, all in vain. The records aren't there. Jumping over to page 205 of the agenda, which is page 36 of Mr. Nash's report, I noted lots of different advances that haven't been paid. For example, in 2011, Measure M funds advanced $364,000 to the general fund. Okay, that was supposed to have been paid over the course of 10 years. Okay, 10 years from 2011 would be 2021. Okay, as of June 2021, we paid 24,000 of the 364,000. Okay, next one, resolution, June of 2015, 208,000 was advanced to the general fund from the gas tax fund. As of, and that was supposed to have been paid back, but 6 years later, of the 208,000, only 15,000 was repaid. The next one, 563,000 was advanced to the general fund to cover the structural deficit from the Transportation Development Act. Okay, the resolution indicated that it needed to be paid over 10 years. That would jump into 2021. Of the $563,000, 38,000.
You got 30 seconds.
Okay. Various other non-major governmental funds were advanced to the tune of 864,000, which has not been paid. This is concerning to all of you, to everyone in this room, whether you have an elected position, an appointed position as a city, or in the public. I would like to know, what repercussions does the city face for not having met their obligations? And now that you do know about it, what are you going to do about it? How are we going to pay this money back?
Time's up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I can remember in 2010, 2011, that the golf course used to play $10,000 and then $11,000 a year. I mean, a month for the water for the tertiary plant. 2011, it disappeared. Didn't have to pay it no more. Well, since that time, we've accumulated. I think the last time I looked at it, and I ain't seen no charge since then. 2024. They borrowed $1.2 million to run the tertiary plant, and we weren't even hooked to it. How come that isn't in this audit? I don't understand that. I mean, that's $1.2 million that was totally illegally put in to the tertiary plant to run the golf course so they could have water. And I'd say 90% of us people don't play golf in the city. And we had to pay for it, and we're never got a dime back for it. Now I'll admit we're going to hook up to it so they can cover it all up, so we can pay for the golf course totally. And a new contract for your golf course, don't pay 1 cent for it. Thank you.
Oh, Patrice.
I just want to say I am an auditor and have been one for 25 years. And this audit,
Didn't know that.
pardon?
I didn't know that. Good to know.
Yeah,
They're calling you.
I'm a medical compliance and regulatory auditor. If I would have found anything like this from one of my medical groups, there would have been legal sanctions and the business would have had repercussions, that it would have been monetary. This really is appalling. I'm sorry. It really is appalling. I have to say that. And it has nothing to do with the water in the golf course. It has to do with the people that were doing the job, not knowing what they were doing and not being regulated in a proper manner. And I could speak from that from experience.
Any other public comment? We got anyone on Zoom? Nope. All right, we'll close public comment. Any other questions from council discussion?
No, it'll be on the next agenda.
What's that?
Move it to the next agenda.
For approval? Okay, all right. Okay. Next, item 2, update on fiscal year 2024-2025 budget amendments.
Andrea Bonham, so you have a staff report in front of you regarding the 24-25 budget amendment update. So basically, quick background, the city of Ione adopted their operating budget for 24-25 on June 1st of 2025. A capital budget was not included in that. It was anticipated that a capital budget would be brought to council for approval a few months later. Due to staff turnover, that didn't happen. And so council never approved a capital budget. And it was also anticipated they had a lot of things that were supposed to come in as mid-year budget adjustment, mostly having to do with creating the park and recs and things that were not put in the original budget. Well, that didn't happen either due to staff turnover. So you have those two items that are driving most of the budget adjustments that will need to happen by the end of the year. So basically, the first step in addressing the 24-25 budget amendment was to make what you guys approved and what was in Cassell didn't match. So we've gone through line by line and made the adjustments. So Cassell and your approved budget match, because the approved budget basically is the document, even if it's incorrect, because some of the math was incorrect, even if it's incorrect, it's still what was approved. So it now matches what Cassell says. And the following items we still need to do, which are, we're continuing to review the expenses and revenues and getting them in the correct accounts, which is something you'll see in the 2021 audit that he was talking about. So we're making journal entries as necessary. The review and allocation of the ARPA funds will also affect fund balances. So some of those adjustments, they'll be for multiple years, but some of them will happen in the 24-25. And then we have to go back and review which items were approved by council. And a lot of the wastewater stuff came to council for approval, but they didn't include budget amendments. So I have to find out which ones were approved and the amendment that goes with them, and then which ones where we went over or under to make the budget amendments. So I'm working on a budget amendment worksheet that lays all that out of basically every line of here's what the budget amendment is, and then a detail. It's not as normally when you do the budget amendment at the end of the year, that column is kind of enough. But in this case, we had a lot of things that were different this year, so we've got to do more research. So we're actually looking at bringing the ARPA allocations on December 2nd to the staff, and then the amendment on December 16th. And then meanwhile, for the last several months, every time, because it changes every time we make an adjustment or every time we receive revenue or a bill or we make an adjustment. So that's what that fiscal year 24-25 revenues and budget comparison is. So you've been getting that over the months just to see it change as we go through it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from council? Comments, Andrew?
No, thank you. I'll pass. I'll wait till next meeting. I had something I was gonna.
All right, open up the public comment. We have any public comment on this? Anyone on Zoom? All right, we'll move on to the next item. We'll get Kenny, Chief Mackey. Next time, if you want, Ken, just let me know and I'll put you at the front so you can go do your duty. But he's away.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. This recommendation comes, we've been doing a due diligence search for a new rescue unit to replace our early 90s rescue that is completely pretty much worn out. Got over 100,000 miles, including your hours logged into it. and it is in desperate need of replacement. We went on a nationwide search and were able to find one that fits the exact replica of our other rescue unit at Station One. And the current rate right now for a new rescue is between $290,000 and $300,000. So this is a very good purchase if you authorize us to get. It's a $58,000, and then the tax and license and travel that comes up to about $65,000 was our guesstimate. It might be a little bit lower than that, but it's got a great condition. Our apparatus inspection crew surveyed it and then determined it was in excellent condition. The maintenance records on it are perfect. And it comes fully equipped for Code 3 use, radios, everything. And it even comes with a set of jaws and a light plant. The set of jaws is roughly $25,000 alone. And then the light plant, the tower assembly is a $20,000 assembly also. So just those two items there almost match what we're paying for the overall vehicle. So the department we're dealing with is almost a replica city of ours. And they even have a prison. So the guy was very, very helpful, and they got a new rescue off of a grant. So that's why this is available at such a low price to us.
Great.
I'm asking for approval of the council tonight. This will come out of our apparatus fund that we earn when we go on strike teams for the state, and put it back in for apparatus replacement so it doesn't affect the general fund.
How many rescue units have we went through? I remember we got the first one, I think, when I was probably a freshman in high school.
Total, we've had 6, and that we've worn out. But these take the place of having to put a lot of rescue equipment, specialized equipment that would overcome the compartment spaces on any of the fire engines. So this is a specialized vehicle that responds to any type of rescue needs, everything from confined space, rope rescue, vehicle rescue, specialized rescue, events that we do go on quite often. And it does relieve the big engines from having to go off into confined areas, and fuel mileage, things like that are a lot cheaper to operate. So that's why we have the 2 rescue units, one at each station.
What year is this rescue unit?
It's a 2004.
Thank you.
It's only got 16,000 miles on it. And like I said, the maintenance records on it are spotless.
They're not 16,000 miles like I would have put on there when I was with you there.
Like usual, good shopping as you always do. I don't know how you find these deals all the time.
I've got a great administrative staff working for me. Chief Parker is really diligent at his job at operations, and he finds great deals. So.
Any questions? Comments?
I just want to make a comment that it is 4-door. Obviously, that means we can have more personnel there to service the city, and the existing one that they're going to quote unquote not use any longer will, from what I understand, it's likely to go to Public Works, and they will be able to use that. Is that correct?
Correct. We're going to offer it to Public Works. It's a full utility unit that it won't be Code 3 worthy anymore. And it would be good for around town. It's still safe to drive, but not for our operations. And a lot of utility space for their tools and equipment.
That's a great idea. Thank you for that.
You guys do find good equipment at good prices. I'll tell you that. Just the additions, the little extras you get on that it's just really outstanding. Thanks so much, Ken and Dave.
Any other comment from council? No?
Nope. Public comment.
All right, we'll open up to public comment. Any public comment? Anyone on Zoom? Nope.
Thank you, Dave Livingstone, Wildflower. Hey, Chief, I live over in Wildflower, and it seems like every single night I'm hearing sirens go by and they're going south to the highway. Is that accurate?
We get quite a few calls in that direction, yeah, but a lot of them are ambulance call. The ambulance going up to Jackson or Sutter Creek. So
Okay.
it's not always a fire unit.
Okay, so, but this would fit right into some needs over there on the main highway.
Correct.
Is the state of California, are they actively trying to supplement ION for so many runs on a state highway?
there's different programs that we're involved with. It goes county, state, and local that we obtain funds through them. Yes.
Okay, so we're getting some support.
Yes.
Okay, because I know you and all the guys that work in the fire department seem to be doing a lot of work every day. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Sir.
I'd just like to thank Kenny. We live on a street where there's, my wife asked him one time, a couple years ago, there's like 640 calls on my street. And I don't know how many lives they saved up there, but Josie's gets a lot, and I appreciate him being such a fire chief. And I've known him since he was 12 years old, so he's quite a guy. Thank you.
Wait, are you friends with Larry?
That's a
Okay.
compliment coming from my dad.
Just making sure, chief.
All right, any other public comment? We'll close public comment.
I'd make a motion to approve the purchase of the replacement rescue truck.
Second.
Can I pause for finance director, is a budget amendment coming at a subsequent meeting for this?
Yeah, I had requested at the budget workshop that any purchase comes with a budget amendment at that time, so we'll be bringing one at the next meeting, so we don't have to do it at the year end.
Perfect.
Thank you, Andrea.
All right, we had did I hear a second?
Yep.
Okay, we had a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, ayes have it.
Thank you again, council, for your support.
Thank you.
Chief.
All right, moving on to item 4. Request by me. It's basically we put a letter out a couple years ago about to the school district to keep our school. I would like to do this again, just basically update the letter that we had, make it maybe more firm and say we want to keep our school. That's basically what I put it in the agenda here. So if you guys have any input, what you want to put, maybe language or something.
I wanted to add some extra stuff, but it didn't make the agenda, and it might not be appropriate for this letter. But there's certainly some other things I'd like to see done. Number one is, a restatement of the zoning for the property, because it's currently government use. And, although a council can change the zoning, we all know that. But if we make a statement that it's going to be educational use, so it takes it out of Mr. Critchfield's hands to sell it to developers like he said he's been trying to do. And I'd also like to have a discussion on the 62% that we send to the school district from our property taxes. That's a bigger discussion, but maybe it could be put in the letter as well, that we're so angry that we would rather keep 30% for ourselves that we could then spend on our own schools in Ione, that we would guarantee wouldn't be spent in Pine Grove. So things like that. But I fully support this resolution.
I also think the difficulty of having Chief Mackey up here might be a good coincidence or a good segue. We put your folks and you kids heading up to Jackson to school. We're going to have accidents on that highway. Someone's not going to come home.
It's gonna happen.
It's going to happen, period. The other thing you can look at is your property values in a good school system. And that affects all of us. And if you're not pissed off, you should be.
I am so strongly opposed to this consolidation. I wish we had more time to start our own school district. I agree with everything everybody's here saying, and we need to contact those of you who are opposed to this. Need to contact our District 2 Representative Kayla Parker. She ran for the post that she has now currently on this topic against consolidation, and I'm hoping that she's going to keep her word on this. I'm a little skeptical at this point, and I'm certainly not being disrespectful. I encourage everybody to go to these meetings. My wife's been diligent. I know Mr. Lee's plans on going up there and explain things, how things are going with the city of Ione and growing. I have, on an emotional level, you know, a town needs schools, and this town's going to need a high school. And, you know, a community, particularly a small community, they rally. It's everything. Friday night football. It's, you know, the Cougars, I mean, the Mustangs or whatever. But, you know, it's an identity. And we don't need to be sending our identity up country in a dangerous fashion. And at the same time, jeopardizing our quality of life in this town with the traffic that we cannot take if they go ahead with this existing plan. So I'm 100% against consolidation. I'd like the letter to be strong with plenty of facts. They're easy facts to make and show passion with respectful passion. And let's go and turn some heads. Thank you. There is a meeting next Tuesday.
And to put it in a framework, this might be the only time you've ever seen everyone on this board agree. That should tell you something.
It's happened twice before.
Twice? I missed it.
We're gonna,
So is this something that we would give George direction on?
yeah, we can come back to this after public comment, but on the method of it is the staff is glad to rework it and put it together. One option is, so it'd be nice to have some council member eyes on it before it's done and sent to the school district. One option is just doing an ad hoc committee to just do a final review of our draft before it's sent along to the school district. That's just one option. The other option is the mayor would be the one to sign it and he would have the final look at it. But that was,
I think that's how we did it before when Dan Epperson signed it.
It's fine by me.
For those of you who, obviously he's going to call for public comment. So I want to hear from people too.
All right, with that, we'll open up to public comment.
Hi, I'm Christy Maida. Everything concerns me about the consolidation. I went to Ione Elementary and Ione High School, so I have a very much interest in this community. The traffic mitigation study for the junior high becoming an elementary school has not been done. The mitigation alleviates the negative impacts on vehicle traffic of the environment, communities, and infrastructure. In our case, I feel this needs to be done before consolidation can be confirmed. Can our city and the very small neighborhood with only one exit even handle this? Ione Elementary, for anyone who has picked up or dropped off kids from K through fifth graders, you know the congestion can be frustrating. Now with the smaller area around the junior high school, less parking and less street access, all on one small street, is going to be crazy. Parents, you think you have to walk now. If you're thinking they're doing it now, we're talking about 124 more kids as of today. Plus, how many of the 6th and 7th and 8th graders need to have their parents walk them to the school campus and pick them up after school? Please go drive over there and look. The other small street going to the school is a one-way street, not an exit. And that street, Sacramento Street, is very narrow, a very narrow old street, and 2 cars have to go slow. If not, only 1 car can go by at a time. Please go look. This affects our whole town. I wanted to say something more on that, but I don't. So Ione Elementary currently has 530 kids. Ione Junior High has 406 kids, 124 more students. Ione Elementary has 31 classrooms currently, not including the band room. The Ione Junior High I called today, and I was told by staff, has a potential of 34 classrooms, but 4 of those are in the old AB brick building from our high school and are not usable due to their not having any heating, need of repair, and mold, which gives Ione Junior High 30 classrooms with their band room. And so Ione Elementary has 32 classrooms with a band, and Ione Junior High will have 31. Other negatives, this was brought up to me also today by the junior high staff. Buildings are spaced farther apart from one another, which would make the kids having to, it's just a lot bigger of a campus. There are 7 sets of stairs, 3 which are quite large.
They've had junior high students fall down and get hurt. These stairs are used by students to go to class. The field is in a far distance from the classroom, so where are you going to put the playgrounds? There is a pond on the other side of the back fence. Kids could go drown. The campus is not fully fenced. There is a 2-story building kids can fall from. There's an area up where they can fall from 2 stories, because we're talking about pre-K kids being at this school all the way up to, well, who knows what they're going to decide what age group. There are 3 retaining walls where kids can fall from. The pool needs a new safe cover. Inadequate parking for staff, as there will be more support staff for the younger kids. How much money to modify Ione Junior High to make it an elementary school?
You got 30 seconds.
Oh, shoot.
Keep talking.
We need to stand behind Ronnie Gold. They've done so much work. Patricia, I was at the meeting last week and you are so eloquent, knowledgeable, and you amaze me. We are glad to have you on our team. People need to write our representatives, state representatives, Dan Epperson, and especially Kayla Parker, who's supposed to be representing us. We gave up our high school. Ione is at the meeting the other day, they said the whole county is not growing. Ione is growing. The rest of the county might not. We're the biggest county with the most students. We gave up our high school. They want us to go down to 1 school where Jackson and Sutter Creek have 2 schools. They want to talk about the camaraderie. They kept talking about the camaraderie and the rivalry between the 2 schools. We had to suck it up and go to Jackson. That was our high school. This affects Ione. Your property values are going to go down because how many families are going to want to move to this community? So whether you have kids, whether it's your property values.
Your time's up.
I know. Darn it.
Thank you.
People need to go fight for this and not just let a couple people
Water's
do it.
worth, I say,
Fix
cut her
it
off,
all.
I'll catch heat.
Hello, council.
Hello.
I'm Ronnie. I appreciate you guys sending a letter to the school district because it's much needed. For everybody that's here, normally school board meetings are on Wednesday. Next week is on Tuesday night. It starts at 6:30. And for everyone that is not informed, there's been a lot of consolidation plans, but the newest plan that they have proposed, they are going to keep our TK through 3rd graders at the elementary school and move our 4th through 6th graders to the junior high campus. In the future, they hope that they have enough money that they can eventually move all the students to the junior high campus, which I don't foresee happening. And the whole purpose of this original consolidation was to save money and close campuses, which they are no longer doing. Next week, they're going to present an alleged budget of numbers because they're going to save us money. So if everybody could rifle through the presentation that's going to be given by the business administrator, that would be great. I'm not a numbers person, but I already feel like the numbers are not going to add up, but that's okay. If anybody has any questions about the consolidation or concerns, I'm not like the most informed person, but I've been going to the meetings for the last 3 years because it's very important to me. I moved to this town, guaranteed that my kids would be going through K through 8 here. I did not move here to drive my kids up the hill. I was guaranteed buying my house that my 8th and 7th graders would be able to attend school here. And I feel like there's a lot of young families and young parents in the same boat as me. I don't know how to get more people to go to these meetings or get revved up about it, but I would really like to see more people there. I would like to see maybe a council member or 2 there. I appreciate everything that you guys are doing. If anybody has questions about anything, feel free to reach out. I might not have the answers, but I feel like I could get you the answers. Please reach out to Kayla Parker. She is our representative. If anything, even if this goes against maybe what she would personally want to vote for, I would like to see her represent the constituents of Ione. And she can, I would rather her put the blame on me as a constituent that maybe she would vote for consolidation, but because there's so many constituents that are coming forward, that she could represent us, even if it means it's not exactly what she personally wants. Because I talk to a lot of people and everyone's on the same page as me in this town. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I don't agree with Councilman Outland, but I do agree on the zoning with him. There's no reason you guys couldn't zone that as a park. And it would add on, if they ever sold it, it would add on to our park. And if they ever wanted to add more schools, you guys could make an amendment to do that. But it's gonna have to go to the planning commission to get it rezoned. There's no reason you guys couldn't, other cities do this to people. Developers do this to people. When they can't get access to something, they get the council that zone it as a park. And the poor guy ain't got nothing but a building. And then you could do that to him and you could do it right now. Just start a planning commission and get it done. And I really believe this is the only way you could stop this stuff. And the bad thing about the junior high, they call it, the old high school, I believe you look at the law, they can't have young kids next to a railroad track that close. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Andrea Bonham, as a citizen of Ione, I attended actually school from nursery school all the way through my sophomore year in high school, and then they moved us to Jackson. So I went 2 and 2. So one of the items for the last consolidation, when they consolidated the high school, everybody made the big push that, oh, it'll be a better education because we're a bigger school. I attended 2 years of Ione High and I attended 2 years of Jackson, Argonaut High, sorry. It was not a better education. I had very specific classes like early American Lit when I was in Ione. When I got to Jackson, I had junior English because it just became a bigger system. So that's one of at the last consolidation meeting I went to, they were pushing, oh, it'll be better for the kids. It's not bigger, it's not necessarily better. The other item is that school was built in the 60s. The Ione Elementary School was built in the 60s. My father attended that grammar school when it was brand new. They have not added anything to that school other than portables since the 60s. And we have spent millions of dollars in impact fees when JTS came in Castle Oaks, and they have not spent it and kept it up at Ione Elementary or the junior high, but specifically the Ione Elementary. And then you say it's in such bad shape now, they, need to get rid of it. It's too expensive. When the funds that we have put in impact fees alone have not ever come back to this community.
Exactly. Thank you.
I will point out, Tom sitting back there has put funds into this, Vivaxius. Tom, you put funds into the school that didn't go to our school.
Yes.
That never was brought up. But he, as a developer, put funds in to repair and do some things for our elementary school that were never done.
I think they
And that's
put
a fact.
Absolutely.
I think they put sidewalks in Pine Grove Elementary with your money. I think that's what happened. But anyhow,
Just so you know. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Patricia Anjija. I'm a parent of 2 elementary school kids in Ione Elementary. When my son entered kindergarten, that's really when this kicked off again with Principal Jenny DeWalt's article in the Ledger stating all of the really terrible conditions of Ione Elementary. And I don't know her personally. She seemed, I didn't have her as a principal. We have Mr. Huss and he's just awesome. If anyone can join us for Walking Wednesdays, please do so tomorrow, especially. So, I read all of that and, at the time Tori was, this great savior. And I kind of bought into all of that and how they were going to fix everything up. My first kid, I want them to have the best. Everyone wants the best for their kids. Reading about how horrible these conditions at the school were, I was just appalled. And so I'm like, yay, consolidation, woohoo. I mean, they're already busing them up to there for, high school, but those are older kids. You have to take that into consideration. My daughter has trouble already on the bus. She's 5. I can't imagine her, I was scared to death when she was being bused to Plymouth for summer camp. And it's just, the roads, I agree with Council Member Mitchell, I'm worried constantly about it. I just would like, if Ione intends to, because I know that's an idea that's been floated, if we do have our own school district, I would just really like a lot of effort put into planning for that, taking it back from ACUSD, because I agree. I don't think that they do keep our best interests at heart. My niece was actually up country. She was attending Pine Grove Elementary. Her parents pulled her. Now she's in Elk Grove school, or not Elk Grove, El Dorado School District, private school, because they didn't have a teacher like for the entire year. They can't staff, it's just terrible. So if we're going to do this, I really want, us as a town to come together and really put forth that effort and be able to not just keep the school here, but also improve it, because as it's been noted and said, the condition is terrible. It does need to be improved. We can't just buy that building or however it would happen and just keep it as is. It would need to be vastly improved. And that's why they think that, rather than improving it, they would just want to sell it and, slough it off to a new property to continue to deteriorate. So I just want that consideration in place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave Johnson, I'm looking at it maybe from a little bit different aspect, like you were saying with the roads, somebody's going to die out there. But I also see when parents pick up their kids from schools, when they're outside the area, they shop there. They're going to buy food out of town. Like I like to go to Ione Market because I feel like I'm trying to help out and I'm buying my gas here. If you're going to go into Jackson and pick up your kids, you're going to swing by McDonald's or Taco Bell or whatever. The city suffers financially too. So in your letter, I would also say this can hurt because you're not going to drive all the way back here and go shopping. If you're already there, you're going to stop by Rayleigh's or whatever the store is up there. And if you're going to get fast food, you're going to buy it there, which financially hurts the city of Ione as well. So not only the traffic and stuff like that, or parents running back and forth, but financially, they're just not.
There's a definite economic impact.
Exactly. So I'm just saying I would make sure that you covered that part too, that if parents are already there, they're not going to make the effort to come all the way back here and patronize. They're going to pick up something on the way home. So that's my 2 cents.
Any other public comment? Anyone on Zoom? Nope. All right, we'll close public comment. Yeah, this is, so for years, I've been behind the scenes working on this. I know some of the Howard family, and the Howards that you all know by own Seabiscuit. They're the ones that donated that property to the school. And their intent was for it to always be a school, and they thought that their grandfather put it in the deed that it would always be a school. And I went up and did a title search with the county, and the language was not in there. If we had that language in there, it would have been a slam dunk, but that's not in there. So we'll try other angles. Any other discussion from council before we give some sort of direction?
Move to draft that letter.
Second.
All right.
Mayor with the final sign off.
Yeah, mayor and vice mayor could review that and sign off. So you know the pieces we want, but I think that'd be good.
All right, we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Item 5, we don't have any
Happy to speak.
information.
This is
Let me table it again because we have the person that wanted it not here and there's no staff report.
Yeah.
But you don't need to. If you want to get it out of the way, go for it.
Well, it's not staff item. It's a request from Councilmember LaFane.
She's not here.
She's not here. I think we should table it on her behalf so she gets a chance to.
Second that.
What?
My only
Continue
comment is
speaking, council.
it's is the third time it's been on the agenda. I don't know what the topics are, but
So let's not table it. Let's
or
remove it.
reformulate it as it could be a closed session performance evaluation. You table it, whatever you want to do, but it's.
Let's see
the
what
third
she
time
wants to
it's been
do.
tabled.
I personally think it should be removed.
I think if she has
There's
some
been like
things she
3
wants to
times now,
cover and
the
Dominic,
third time we were going to try to do this.
if Dominic and her have things they want to do, it's either closed session or it comes here before the board. They're voted in and they have made their concerns known that it's important enough to be on the agenda. I don't think they're just putting it on here for no reason.
Yeah.
So I would say just move it to the next one or put it in closed session, but it needs to be covered so that they are heard.
Do we know what it is at all?
Yeah, it was real high, 30,000 feet. There's duties of the city clerk and there's duties of the city attorney. And we think some of those duties are getting blurred. And we just wanted a list of what they are, so that Josh doesn't do duties that he's more expensive than the city clerk. I'll just say that. So if he's doing city clerk duties, then that's a concern. And so we just wanted to have the duties laid out, what they're supposed to do, so we will be on the same page. That's basically it. But Allison would know more about it than me, but that's what I was told, so.
If we do this one, it'd be best to do it in closed session, and then if we need to, we can bring it up.
I'd second that. Let's do it as a closed session item in the next
I
meeting.
agree with Jack. I didn't want to mute your voice. I just, put it on the agenda for a fourth time or something. Obviously, I want you to have your say. But if we're going to be talking about two personnel positions, yours and also Janice's, it does not need to be done here right the first time.
All right, so
Move it to closed session for next meeting. I'd make a motion that we move it as a closed session item for the next meeting.
Second.
first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Have it. Okay, reports and communications from city attorney. You have none? City manager, Mr. Lee.
Just a couple things, just to let the public know, there is going to be a rate adjustment from Republic Trash that was approved in 2023, effective 1-1-26. The trash rates are going to be increased 4.3%. That was previously approved. With respect to one of the council members had suggested that the November meeting at the beginning of November be canceled due to that being on the election day. So that's up to you folks to decide, but that was one of the items that was requested to be discussed.
I would see what's coming up and either hold it on a different day or cancel it. Would be my direction, depending on what we need to cover.
I agree.
Yeah, I do too.
So do you want to see what's on the agenda and then if needed?
Yeah, if needed, we can put it on a different day and notify the public, but if not needed, we can certainly cancel.
Yep. Howard Park is continuing to evolve. We do expect the final master plan to be in color by RRM. As noted in the budget, there are a lot of concerns regarding the budget. And in my personal opinion, it is a revenue issue, not a budget issue, not expense issue. For the past 10 to 15 years, there's been a lot of emphasis placed on growth, but there hasn't been any attention paid to revenue generation. So I believe in the next 2 to 3 to 4 months, I think we will be bringing to the council several measures to correct that. I have reached out to a lot of my contacts in the development business and the hospitality industry to bring some hotel gas stations. We are having some diligent conversations with Aragon, the developer of or the owner of that site. So those discussions do take some time because there's a lot of infrastructure needs that need to be discussed. So again, my initial comments are the discussions have been promising. But again, so again, I'm hopeful that these discussions come to fruition for something fruitful for the city. Because again, the development group has submitted 1,100 additional homes. So homes, as everyone knows, are taxing to the infrastructure. They cost the city money. And so one of the things that I have been expressing to the development team is that, hey, we need to work together to bring some sales tax revenues to support this growth. That is paramount because to have more growth without any sales tax revenue, it defeats the purpose. So again, I do believe that I am optimistic that in the next 3 to 4 months, we will bring several areas to generate revenue, sales revenue, but also we are hopeful that something comes to fruition with the Castle Oak commercial side. That's it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, George.
All right, council comments, reports, or future agenda items. Councilmember Outland, do you have anything?
Yeah, I would just like to bring that grant that Diane Ratton was sent to us about, she did a grant template sent to everybody for girls softball. So I'd like to see that on agenda as soon as possible, please.
Ms. Mackey will be attending that session. So again, just so you know.
Okay, great. Yeah, excellent. That's it for me. Thank you.
Councilmember Mitchell?
Well, we've talked about, it. I think we need to get the zoning change for Island Elementary on the agenda. Or to Planning Commission, start the process of changing the zone instead of just saying we should, maybe we should actually do it. We've got a lighted parade coming up this weekend for Halloween, which can be fun. And it's on a Friday. I hope everyone has a great time. Please be safe. It's on Sunday. What did I say? Saturday? Sunday. No wonder everyone looked puzzled. I wonder, you guys kept awful quiet out there and just let me go on and on. Sunday is the parade. But Friday is Halloween. And make sure you guys be safe. Watch out. There's going to be a lot of kids out there. I also think on our future agenda, we talked about the annexation for Wildflower for the emergency route. I'd like to see that come back up. Let's get that nailed down and make sure we're making progress on taking care of that neighborhood so that we have emergency access in and out. So that's it. And thanks for putting up with my calendar. Now you know what it's like being me. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Mita.
Yes, Jackie, you took all my thunder, by the way.
Well, at least
Gotta mention Picnic Hill's coming along great. Great time at the Rotary dinner at the Oktoberfest. Rotary always does a bang up job. And I want to do a little mea culpa. You know, I heard Ronnie tonight say about none of us have gone to these board member school board meetings, and I'm ashamed of myself for it, and I apologize. And that won't be the case anymore. I need to be representing our city up there and supporting the ones that have been doing all the hard work that I've been taking advantage of. So come see me if you have any questions, and I'll find answers, please. Thank you.
All right, I just have one thing, the creek, I don't know if you guys have noticed, the creek is running again. We got it all, most of it cleaned out. We're probably 1/3 of the way what we need to get done, but there was a lot of work done, and I want to commend the creek committee. We call it the creek committee now, so they get a great job. So anyhow, with that.
Hang on, I forgot something, if I may add one more thing. The way the minutes are recorded on the website, I asked for that they would have a link next to the agenda, and that was mentioned in the audit as well, where he said it would be way easier if you have the agenda like tonight, and then you have the package, and then you have the minutes. And I believe it's already set up that way for past council meetings. So I would just like to see that implemented. I know it's going to take a while to load all those minutes in the right place, but I'd be willing to help with that if someone needs some help. But I'd like to see that as a policy of the council, that the minutes will now be linked to the agenda.
We've already discussed it with John.
Thank you.
I already post the agendas, so it's not going to be that hard to post the minutes separate.
Thank you.
Very cool.
All right.
Move to adjourn.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Good night.
Hey, Grash.
All right.
What a con meeting.
We'll let you talk, seriously. You let Dr. Dan.
I will.
I mean, tomorrow morning, he told his office.
I'll call my